everyone, my name is Sitha and I'm here today with Jackie. We're here to talk about mental health. Just doing a conversation to just kind of get everyone aware about mental health and in regards to just kind of getting it more known and talked about, and we think it's a very kind of important topic and subject. So I won't talk too long, so I want to introduce Jackie and let her tell us about herself and just tell us more about yourself, what you do, occupation, etc.
Yeah, so my name's Jackie. Sometimes people call me Jabz. Jabz, I'm a singer. I'm always not sure what to say when people ask what do you do, because I don't think I do one set thing. But for today I will say I'm a MIS administrator and a charity advocate. I'm 28 years old and here just to talk like a brief overview about basically mental health well-being. Yeah,
definitely. Jackie does a lot with charities, Growth Catalyst, which is for regards to mental health as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's a community-based organisation in Kenya.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, it's really good. Follow it, by the way. We'll leave all the information.
All the links will be in the captions.
So follow, please. But I'll start by asking. I'm looking at my phone, so if anyone's wondering why. So I'm just going to ask, so we did all go through lockdown and we know everyone was affected in various ways. So in regards to lockdown, how did you kind of handle that in regards to with your mental health? Was your mental health affected in any way, or was it improved? Some was improved, some was didn't. So what would you say?
I think with the actual lockdown period, so when they told us to work from home, isolate, social distance, that part did not affect me mental health wise. I think mainly because first I was not living alone, I was living with my family, and second because I have an introverted nature and I am an only child, I have spent quite a lot of time alone and I still do spend quite a lot of time alone, and I'm quite content in myself with that. So the isolation part of it is not what I found difficult. So the thing that did affect me mental health wise was the actual COVID itself. So after I caught COVID and then I recovered, I then came to the realization that my body is not doing what it used to do. So I basically at this moment in time, yes, I'm able to maintain a job Monday to Thursday, but in terms of all the other extracurricular stuff I did outside of office work, I do like 50% of what I used to do before, because I no longer have the energy as I did before I had COVID. So it's been hard for me mental health wise, because the things that I used to de-stress, decompress in terms of socializing, exercise, I'm no longer do that at the same pace I did 2 years ago. And then I've had the frustration of comparing myself to
before
the Jackie of 2 years ago.
So I think that's the hard bit. I think it's one thing to have COVID affect you obviously in regards to kind of lockdown, but to now affect you kind of physically, or in regards to kind of you can't do any extracurricular activities, it is another blow, if you know what I mean. It's like a double whammy. So how are you kind of combating that in regards to kind of trying to get yourself to a place of, I don't know, solace, or kind of realizing you're not the Jackie you were before, but that's okay, and you're kind of wanting to grow from that, or are you changing activities now to something else?
The activities are still the same, but just a lot less. So I am pacing myself, trying to listen to my body, trying to recognize when I feel overwhelmed, trying to be more vocal and say, hey, explain to people like this is what I can achieve at this moment in time, trying not to feel like I have to justify myself to everyone, just telling to people, sorry, this is what I can achieve at this moment in time, take it or leave it, politely.
Sometimes you have to be a bit, for your own sake and your own health. I don't think it's ever rude to have that boundary for people, and sometimes I feel like people think that word boundary is like but it's not in a bad way at all. It's actually just letting people know that, you know what, I'm just thinking about myself in the sense I have to be kind of, in quote unquote selfish for my own kind of health or mental health. because now I'm in a place where I can't obviously do what you used to do before, but you're thinking about your own self, and so that you can actually do the job for other people.
Yeah.
So I think it does help being honest, because there's no point saying to people, oh, I can do this, but you know yourself physically, mentally, you can't achieve that. So then that actually there's a catalyst effect, because it affects you, but also affects the person that you can't provide the commitment to.
Yeah.
So I think that's good in that sense, that you're being honest to people and like, no, you know, I do still want to do what I'm doing, I can do the job, and you know, but my energy is just not where it used to be. But and that thing that helps people be like, okay, and allow the expectations to be met as well.
To manage people's expectations. I think because before I was extremely busy. Now I'm just very busy, so people can't, looking from the outside, they can't tell the difference. Oh, but you're still very busy. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm nowhere near as busy as I was before. And also, because people see me like posting, emailing, sending messages, and I'm like, guys, you know, with a mobile phone, you can do that from anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
So I tell people, guys, don't be fooled. Just because you see me posting this, that, and what doesn't mean that I am A-okay. You know, with technology, you can post from your bed. A lot of the posts I'm posting on when I'm in bed. To be very honest. So,
yeah, we all do that. It's guilty. That's very true. In regards to Growth Catalyst, how did you start off with that? How did you get involved in being a part of Growth Catalyst itself?
So I got involved because a very good family friend of mine, she's the one that started, like she's the one that had the idea initially. She is a Kenyan who's based in Sweden at the moment, but she was passionate to do something that was going to operate back home and impact back home. And obviously mental health is quite a big issue in our community, and something that has not been talked about. So now we are starting to have these conversations, just maybe in the past 5 years, I could say.
Not great as well.
And even now the conversations are still quite limited. So I
found that with African kind of culture, it's not a talked about thing. It's kind of like, not even that suck it up and get over it, but it's just not understood.
It's not understood.
It's not understood, and it sometimes can come off as being inconsiderate or insensitive. But I think it's just not having the knowledge. To be fair, let's be real. Like, I don't think most people knew what mental health was until it kind of started coming more into the forefront. But I think sometimes people don't do it out of spite or anything.
That's where we come in. So we are providing people with the knowledge. So we are educating people through workshops, seminars. Through COVID, we did a lot of virtual stuff. For layman's terms, it's just helping people to understand mental health, trauma, triggers, trying to recognize their own behavior, trying to unpick their own habits and behaviors that they might have developed during childhood. And then when it comes to people who have specific mental health needs, that's when our team comes in. We do have qualified counsellors and psychiatrists to help, but then what we also do, we also have a network of counsellors and psychiatrists throughout the country, or we're connected with different networks. So we will try and help an individual through not just getting the financial means, but then also the practical stuff, like approaching mental health professionals, trying to get to appointments, trying to get access to hospitals. So we kind of facilitate all of that. And then on the raising awareness side, we are getting involved with media, so in terms of televised interviews, news articles, social media. And then that's where I came in, because I was kind of overseeing the social media part of it from this side. So a lot of people, because they've seen me go on about it a lot, they do think, is there a branch in UK? Or is there something in the UK?
I thought there might be a branch.
And no, there isn't anything in the UK at the moment. I don't know if we will have a chance to expand. But I was my focus as somebody, let's say an African that has grown up in the UK, my focus was more mental health and the effects on the diaspora. So I was very keen to get people, young people, to share their mental health stories. So I was like, you know, doing little clips and videos of people, you know, just even just with a phone, like just speaking uncandidly about their mental health experience, because I wanted to continue the conversation. I feel like the more people talk about it and normalise the conversation, it can lessen that stigma.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's in the past it's been that thing of like hide it, conceal, you know, don't talk about it. It's, you know, it's just deal with it yourself.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes if it can have that sense of like, not shame, but you feel, oh, like, why am I feeling this? The camera cut off and we're back. We knew it would happen. Sorry, Jackie was just telling us regarding, well, I was just explaining that we should be a bit kinder to ourselves regarding kind of notifying that we need any kind of support, just for our mental health, just having that realization that, you know, it's okay to feel sometimes a little, you know, you might feel low, but it's reaching out and trying to find the help so that you can either get diagnosed or get advice or counselling or, you know, medical advice as well. So I think it's very important to kind of have that realization and conversation that it's okay to ask for help, really. That's the main thing. So I definitely think it's one of those things that people need to kind of just allow themselves to ask for help. Definitely. So I'll go to the next question. Oh yeah, I was going to ask as well, how can people get involved with Growth Catalyst in itself?
So I have got this question quite a lot, and it has been from people who live in the UK. So I think one of the ways they can get involved is being involved in the conversation, join the conversation. So we are quite active on social media, mainly Twitter is where we have a lot of our conversations, and we have a blog that is updated weekly with a lot of
the blog below.
authentic personal stories, but then also kind of like tips and guidance as well, and stuff that you can reflect on, like resources that you can use yourself to kind of, you know, help decipher what's going on in your head. And the second way that you can help, and I'm not shy to be that person to talk about money, you can donate.
I think that people need to also realize that organizations like this are, you know, helped through donations. Like, I think people see kind of obviously the forefront of everything and think, oh wow, that's great, but it is from everyone getting involved, everyone helping out and actually donating so that the resources can be provided for people, and, you know, people can be helped further. So I definitely think that it's one of those things that people helping by donations is like a very kind of pivotal thing to actually allow Growth Catalyst to continue growing and improving and getting the resources out there for people. So,
yeah, because not only do we obviously like supporting people with access to mental health facilities, we do have like a cohort of youngsters that we do send through school each year, and that's not necessarily like, it's not relating on what course they're studying or anything. It's you know, open to anyone. So we anything donated will go towards that as well. And we do have periodically like activities and events that will help, where we help within the community in terms of distributing resources, just like clothes and, you know, stuff like that, particularly during COVID. We did quite a few events like that. So it's not always, although it's the main focus is mental health, sometimes it's also about providing people with practical resources that can help them ease the pressures of life, because obviously the more pressure you have, the more your mental health can suffer.
And decline as well. So definitely. Oh, that's very good, that. Next question. I don't have this memorized, don't come for me. I'm an old woman now, therefore my memory
goes in.
comes out the next year, so yeah. So we're gonna start, you know, asking about acting now. Jackie has been in a movie, A Life to Remember. So
A Life to Regret.
Oh, A Life to Regret. My God, regret. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know where to regret. Please tell us more about that, and how did you get into acting in the first place?
So yeah, I was in a movie that was shot in Tanzania called A Life to Regret by a very small film company called BJB Films. They did the screenplay, they produced the movie, shot it, so they like managed everything in house. I'd never done anything like acting at that scale, obviously, like being like main person.
Yeah.
But there was a time, like in 2014, I did do like a brief play. It was called the Black and Blue Monologues. So it was more like it involved mainly singing. So I sang a bit, and then I did like a quick monologue. That's the only actual
She
experience.
also knows the piano.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
She's musically inclined. She's got all the, you know, acting, singing, musician. She's got the three, you know, Hollywood.
Is it the triple threat thing?
That triple threat. She's that. So it's amazing. And I just realized I didn't even delve in how I know Jackie. Jackie used to
go way back. Way back. Yeah, college.
Yeah, college.
Like,
so college for American people is our
what do Americans
sophomore?
do? Sophomore year.
Or the
high school. Yeah,
when you're
final
16.
years of high.
Yeah, high school when you're 16.
Yeah, 16 to 18.
Yeah, 16 to 18. I don't know
Yeah.
what it's called. Yeah.
So
we met there.
So we met like roughly 11 years ago.
Yeah, it was long. And then also at church, we reconnected at church. Because we knew a mutual friend, Lydia.
Yeah.
So then we just had kind of hanging out again. And then it's been a long time since we've seen each other again because life happens.
There was this time in 2017 when we thought it was a good idea to do the 3 peaks.
Oh, yes.
And raise money for our respective charities.
Yes. Oh my god, I can't believe that.
My girl here did brilliantly. She's, you know,
No.
raced through it. She pushed through it. She finished. Did all the 3.
I stopped. I nearly died.
They paused. Okay, you paused, but we went back on it.
Oh god.
Me, I couldn't finish.
She unfortunately had girly time that decided to punch her in the gut, literally. And I was like, and the worst thing is, we found out that she left at the end. Like when we finished, I was like, where's our friend? And I was like, what the heck? Like, why did you not tell us this?
I'm done. And then I bounced back to these. They were like, where are you? Where have you gone?
And I don't think we had signal, so it was
there was no signal, so we kind of lost each other. I had this, like you left me with a bit of your stuff, and I was like, I'm a small person. I was even smaller back then, so it was me trying to go up this hill, and then with your stuff kind of pulling me back.
It was so
and
it was good.
It was raining.
Oh, it was raining.
Yeah.
It was. I felt so bad after because I was like, "Where's Jackie?" And then the woman which was like guiding us was like, "Oh, Jackie had to go. She took a taxi." And by the way, guys, this was from like 6 to like I think we finished at 5. Or, I don't know if we finished at 5 or 6. I don't know what time we finished at. Was it 5? I can't remember.
I think it was
because you have to be on 12 hours or something.
Yeah,
to kind of like the darkness.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell? Like, where's she gone?" I was like, where is she? And I thought to myself, oh my god, like what happened? And then she told us like, oh my god, I started the girly time. I was like, I felt bad because I was like, that's not nice. And 2, listen, Jackie's saying, oh, I did great, I finished. I was wrenching at the side of the first peak because I was literally like, do you know when the oxygen's quite thin?
When it rushes in.
I didn't eat as well. The woman was like,
you didn't actually eat.
Yeah, we didn't eat. Yeah, we just like left quickly. And then I was there like wrenching in the corner, like, oh my god, I haven't even finished this 1 peak, and I'm like nearly about to throw up. And everyone was like, are you okay? And I was like, no. So God knows how that day was just, it was good, but it was not good in the sense Jackie obviously left.
It was it was an experience.
We'll
We'll
redeem ourselves next time.
I'll sit that one out. I can't.
1 peak, like you can choose like
no peaks, I just stick to walking on flat.
Yeah, flat ground.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that was just a day. But I just thought with I didn't delve into that in the beginning, but acting wise, let's go back.
So I'd had that brief experience in 2014, but never like nothing like series or a feature film, nothing of the like. I've never even looked at a script that length before.
Yeah, learning those lines.
But I'm the sort of person, as introverted as I am, I like to try new things, and I'm the sort of person, I'll do something once. If I'm terrible at it, then we leave it.
Yeah,
but as long as I've
tried it. Yeah, I'm kind of the same in that sense. I used to not be that way, but I think it's a really good like attribute to have, because I think it allows you to opens you up to a lot of things as well. Like now you've started acting because of it. You're like, oh no, might as well try it.
Yeah.
And sometimes stuff like that gives you an opportunity to actually end up growing in an area that you never thought you could actually grow in. So I think it's a very good attribute to have, I have to say. So yeah, then you got that. So how did you like find the script? Like, did someone contact you?
So the producer's local to Yorkshire.
Hit me up.
So I actually got in contact with him because I was wanting to do more media stuff with Growth Catalyst. I wanted to leave me doing my little videos on the phone and wanted a proper camera. So I wanted a proper camera, and I even wanted like a panel discussion. Not instead of just one-to-one. I wanted a panel where we have topics, I'm in the middle, I'll facilitate it. I wanted us to unpick everything, you know, unpick like, was it right that they used to beat us up, you know, at home, our parents, everything.
Yes.
Like I was ready to put all the controversial topics on the table. So that's actually
having the conversation.
I approached him because I was like, okay, I need a good quality camera. I need someone to help film this, because now I want it to be like the phone worked for like authenticity, but now I'm wanting it to be more professional. So that's why I went to him, and then he said, oh, I've got a script. I was like, I've never acted. He's like, no, you don't need to have acting experience. I just need you to be interested and be able to memorize. Basically, first see if you can memorize it, because it was long. Because I was the main person, so it was a lot of lines, a lot of dialogue, and a lot of interacting with different characters. So if you feel like you can, you know, tackle it, memorize it, then and I'll coach you through like certain techniques. We'll be happy to have you on board, because it's a small company that's starting up. We're not looking for professionals, we're just looking for people who are willing to put the work in, willing to learn. So I was like, yeah, sign me up. We ended up filming in Tanzania. It was originally planned to be filmed in the UK, but with current COVID restrictions at the time, it'd be easier to film in Tanzania. So
I think it's good that you did that you actually went to Tanzania. I think allowed you to also like be out of your comfort zone.
And it had a lot of emotionally intense scenes, and even some like physically intense scenes. So
draining,
that that was the challenging part. It was quite draining, but also rewarding, because you know, just learning new skills, meeting a lot of new people, getting, you know, knowledge and experience from them, which I'm grateful for. I'm just grateful for the opportunity, really, that I was able to kind of pursue that, particularly during the pandemic.
I think it also, do you think it had like an effect on your mental health regarding like adding that to, rather than, I'm not saying being at home or working, but do you think it kind of added a positivity to the COVID situation? Because I don't say it's a distraction, but it allowed you to be away from maybe that topic of like COVID everywhere. Because I felt like everywhere you looked was news, COVID. It just, for many people, so I feel like you having to be engrossed into a character and learn your lines, like, you know, learn how to do the different scenes with different partners and people. I think it allowed you to obviously concentrate on that in that aspect. Do you think that kind of helped you with the COVID?
That's a very good point. It definitely helped. Like you said, it helped me to kind of take myself out of
that world in a way.
Because
do you think how Tanzania was COVID just as not bad, but do you think the media kind of presented it the same way as in, you know,
it was presented completely different.
I can imagine. And do you think there was less fear being there? Because I felt like being in England, it felt like it was everywhere, and there was that fear factor being presented. I shouldn't say that word. I think getting banned on YouTube. To be fair, I'll have to bleep out the vid. The vid. Yeah, I'll just the pandemic. I'll say pandemic. But yeah, I feel like here in the pandemic was just kind of very much a fear factor thing, because I don't think the news helped that much. Because why do we need to be knowing death counts? Why do we need to be having like a long list of people that have deceased? I just don't think that adds anything to people's lives. I'm getting a bit political about this, but I'm just saying. So I think it's just an honest answer, really, isn't it?
It was just a constant drip feed of negativity. The televised news is quite negative anyway. I know they have a duty to report things in real time, but then they also tend to sensationalize and a lot of things, and then approach a lot of sensitive topics just very like matter of factly. So like you're saying about the death toll and everything.
I do not. Yeah, some things I don't think it was. And obviously they probably wanted to provide the seriousness of the matter. I'm not saying it was not serious because it was a serious thing, but the fact of, I think that allowed more panic and more kind of negativity in regards to that, because when you're seeing numbers go up like that, all you're thinking is, am I next? Do you know, especially if you're, and regarding mental health, when you're seeing that is not adding anything to your mental health, any positivity at all. And I just think it was a bit
anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety. I think there's a way of portraying the seriousness of something in a way that doesn't have the fear factor, because I think fear only has a certain limit. And as you can tell, when the restrictions left, people were like wild. They were could care less, nothing. There's a cap on fear. I studied psychology, so I know all these things in regards to fear doesn't create change in behaviour. Actually, people think that put the fear of God into someone and they'll force them to change. No, do it long enough, it actually desensitizes them to the actual thing you're trying to stop them from doing. And that's what I think it did. It desensitized a lot of people to be like, yeah, well, I've been hearing this for 4 weeks now, so okay. And that's why I feel like it was not needed, but I digress.
But yeah, on that point, that is why I do prefer to like read my news. I don't watch like televised news, just so I can understand how to decipher what I'm reading. I can question the credibility. I can also choose when to kind of switch on and switch off, like what I want to consume and stuff. So yeah, like Tanzania, the coverage is completely different. Obviously restrictions completely different. Everything at that time, there was no restrictions. The reason why we went there, and the fear wasn't there.
And do you think people manage themselves differently because of that, in regards to kind of, it just wasn't like an everyday, it was, people acted the same as they would if it wasn't happening?
So there at the time we were there, it was business as usual.
Okay, just your perspective there. But yeah, sorry, I digress. Next question. Regarding the role itself, did you enjoy playing the role?
I did enjoy playing the role, actually. Like we mentioned before, it was emotionally intense, but overall I very much enjoyed it.
Would you act again? Would you do another new role?
That is a very good question. I think at this moment in time, no.
No? Oh no. Anyone who wants an actor, she's here. I said no, I'm advertising. I think she deserves it, so that's why I do it. I'm living my dreams through her. But no, I think she deserves it. You did great. I think it was a good thing. Well, I don't know. Do you have any questions for me before we end on anything?
So, we want to know about the pandemic and the effects on mental health. How did it affect you at all?
Okay, yeah. What happened to me? I did think I was going to say something and I forgot before I got engrossed in answers for me. But for me, I think, one, I was like, yay, because I'm working from home.
I think that's like something like,
That was my first inkling, like my selfishness actually. But actually, I was living with my mum at the time, I remember, because I just moved back home. Saving up for a house, so me and my boyfriend were saving up for a house, and to be fair, I was going to move into like a flat, and then my boyfriend said, what's the point, like why don't you just move back in with your mum and save money? He's good with money, I'm not. So I was like, okay then, fine, I mean it's a good idea, like, you know, I'll do that. So and then I just moved back with my mum, you know, going to work, learning to drive. Thank you pandemic for ruining that. But yeah, then they were like, I think it was at work, and because obviously people started getting it, and you know, that fear thing, and we're in an office where everyone was kind of enclosed, like, you know,
shared office space.
It's not like distance. I think they started trying to make people like one person, then empty space, one person, empty space. But there's only so much you can do because it's not a big office. And then I think we were sent home early that day. They were like, oh, go home because, you know, there's someone that's got in a case of the vid. And, you know, just safer to go home. So they sent a few of us home, and then they left like a skeleton team. And I was like, woohoo! And then I went home and I was like, I am not getting quarantined with my mom. I'm sorry. I was like, I love my mama, but I'm going to my friends. I called my mom. I was like, can I come like quarantine with you? And he was like, yeah, no, it's fine. I was like, yes. And the good thing I did, because you know the lockdown was long.
It was long. When they said that week, I remember in March when they sent everyone home. I literally thought we'd be back. I thought we'd be back in 2 weeks.
I was saying.
And I really thought, 2-3 weeks. Okay, we'll go back. And then now it's...
Did it happen?
It's like 5 months later, like...
we're still like blinking like, okay. But in regards to like how my mental health was affected, I think for the first few weeks I was enjoying, like, obviously not going to the office, you know, living it up, you know, logging on like 10 minutes before you start work. This would be like, open an eye, and open the laptop, and like tap, tap, tap. Yeah, I was that bad. But then I realized really quickly that I needed a routine, because I think sometimes you think I don't need a routine, or it's great to be free, and not just do what you want. But I realized very quickly like I need routine in my life, because one, I was just, you know, waking up, you know, like that, like maybe 20 minutes before work started, 10 minutes. It's one you don't realize, but you're slowly decreasing your self-care. If you realize,
that's true.
In regards to just like, you know, going to the gym, or I know you couldn't go to the gym, but going for a walk, like for instance, or you know, etc., etc. And I think I realized, oh, I need a routine here, like, you know, because one, I'm home all the time, it's just the same.
Yeah.
So I just started to, in my mind, like, wake up early, you know. You know, self-care, have a shower, because it's easy just like, oh, I'll have a shower, have it later at lunchtime.
Yeah.
This is real, like, I'm not leaving the house, because this is real, like, I was like, oh, I'll have my shower at lunchtime, like, no one's seeing me, like, no one's really smelling me, because I'm often at work, so I make sure I do it before I come back, like, so I started doing that, just like, you know, just the simple things, have a shower, brush your teeth, even dress up in loungewear, or, you know, don't have to be office wear, but lounge, something comfortable, that I feel like, oh yeah, I'm ready for work. And then like, by the time work started, I felt like, oh, I'm ready for work, rather than just being like, I'm home and I'm having to work. I'm very much a compartmentalizer, so I think for me it was hard to. For me, I've always seen work as being outside, home is where I relax and where I just. And for me to now have work inside the house was not great, because it felt like I wouldn't log off as when I finish, because sometimes when you're in an office, log off, get to the bus stop, get to the train station.
But when the work is right
in front of you, you're still typing.
Like, let me just quickly fit. Next minute, you know, it's 8 o'clock.
That's what I mean. And then it ended up I would start sometimes logging on earlier if I knew I had like a deadline, and it was like actually affecting me mentally, because I was like, I've not actually got like a place where I can like now relax at home, because my work is now feels like 24/7. So I did have to kind of put that boundary in place, and like, no, you know, I log on when I start, log off if I can't help it, log off when I'm finished work. If I was in the office, I would log off anyway.
It's true.
So I definitely think I did have more times of like, oh, I don't like this lockdown, and I definitely was happy when it did finish, because I did want that structure in my life of just being like, I can go to the gym in the morning, then go to work, and then finish work, and then go home. Like, I just liked that pattern. So for some people it was great, but for me, I wasn't feeling it. I mean, I wasn't like I won't say it was in a bad place, but it was more just kind of like, oh, this is annoying now, and that more of that fed up thing, and I think very much lacking in your self-care in regards to just being like, oh, get dressed and lounge around in your pajamas all day. Yeah. And you don't realise it's a small thing, but it definitely is a factor. It's a factor, And you start not forgetting about yourself, you start just letting yourself go, let's be real. You know, I'm packing on the pounds, like, so it was added pounds.
Yeah, you're less active, because when you had that work routine, you force yourself out of the house.
But I had to force myself to kind of have that routine of like, get some at least physical exercise, so then you know, you feel better about yourself, and you know, you're not letting yourself go. So definitely it did have a negative effect, but in essence I think I learned a lot as well from it. So yeah. But so this has been with Jackie today. It's been great. Just talking about mental health, and just getting more awareness regarding mental health, and I think it's been a great topic as well in conversation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's catch up in a bit.
Let's catch up. I know it's been like years. So it's been great catching up with like an old friend, but also just having that, conversation regarding mental health and just getting involved. I think sometimes people think that we need to do like these massive things to make a difference. I think it's definitely just two things. All we need to do is be a voice, just have conversations, and just take part really. So I definitely some special, amazing, big grants thing or doing amazing fun things to
you might not even realise the impact at this moment in time, 4 years or even 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it will definitely have an effect.
Well, it's been so lovely to have Jackie with us. She'll be back. Because we're definitely having a lot of conversations that need to be had. I think just in general, life.
Not always mental health.
But life itself, being a woman, being in your 20s. Everything. I think sometimes, like, I always say to myself, like, I wish I had a voice or someone that would say certain things when I was a certain age. Because let's be real, like, when we were younger, we would have these conversations or
all the knowledge we had at that age was just
so usually
they also told us what they knew, so their knowledge was also limited.
So I think now definitely like it's very important just to have conversations with women and just everyone really, just having a great conversation and having people's opinions and advice, because I think sometimes you think that you might think, oh, this way the way I'm doing this now is the way it should be, but sometimes it's not always, and there's always a better way or advice that might be like, okay, that's actually the point. So
Or you might hear a story that contradicts somewhat the other one's experience.
And I think in life you're looking for different things like money, or half of the people are going through the same thing. But it's been great having Jackie on. So we're going to be cooking. We'll let you know when the new ones out. We'll have all the links. Long